Man, sales is tough. I'm just not cut out to be a salesperson. Have you ever felt that way? Selling doesn't need to be so difficult. My name is Harry Spate. I'm here to serve and to help you succeed. Join me as we discuss sales made easy.
Become a better leader for my girls on my team. And, I just totally strive for better and just looking for that next thing that I can push myself. And I tell my girls all the time, or potential team members, that it's just that little space outside of your comfort zone where God really wants you to be, and to push yourself and live the life He wants you to live. And if you're aware and listening, He'll guide you right where you need to go.
Oh, the Sales Made Easy listener, what is the good word? Today we have a special treat. Yes, they're all special treats, but this one, we go back in time. My friend Autumn Britton is making a guest appearance on the Sales Made Easy podcast. And a quick intro, Autumn and I used to work together back in the early 2000s, selling copiers in the Washington, D.C. market. So a few things have changed since then. So Autumn, welcome to the Sales Made Easy podcast. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is that you're doing these days?
Well, these days I've kind of done a 360 in a way, still in sales though, for sure, because that's what makes the world go around. And I've just been in all kinds of various sales, but I finally came around to kind of my family business of Mary Kay. My mom had been in Mary Kay for almost 48 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And my dad worked alongside her actually for 30 years of those. And so, yeah, he retired from farming and they decided to do this, and he does the finances and that sort of things. And there's never been another dime that's come into my parents' household. And so, but it took me a long time, and I finally came to it, my I story is what we call it. It came out of, I was working for another company, working very hard, just going along just A-okay, and they brought in a person that wanted to maybe buy into the business, and he decided I was making too much money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
lovely.
Yeah, so and they cut my pay by almost a third.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I said, you know what? That's not for me. That had happened to a lot of my friends. I'd seen it, but it never happened to me. So I didn't like it very much. And so I called my mom, and she came in and said, I'm going to do Mary Kay. I don't want anybody to ever tell me again how much I'm worth. It wasn't sales, that part of it, that I was in HOA management, first time out of sales. And so it just started from there. She explained the marketing plan to me because I didn't really get it even after that long, and paying for my college and cars and all kinds of things like that. But she explained it to me, and I ran with it. I did what she said, probably maybe for the first time in my adult life. And so there, and here I am, very successful. Every year just keeps ramping up, and 6 years later, I'm still a director, and earned the pink Cadillac is in my driveway right now.
Oh my goodness.
All the diamonds and things that comes along with that.
So great to see. I mean, if you guys knew Autumn, I mean, I knew her when she was a young punk just out of college, and just a really cool kid. Right. And that's really what I liked about you. And so you never seemed to be the high pressured salesperson. Did that ever change, or you just seemed to be chill and relaxed, the kind of the country girl approach, looking out for people's interests? I mean, is that describe you still, or what do you say to that?
Absolutely. Thank you. But yeah, I'm glad you remember me that way, because I've never been high pressure in any of the different sales that I've been. I tell a story, I explain why I think you need it, and then you decide if you want it or not, whether it be a lipstick, a 4 carat diamond ring or a $50,000 copier or whatever.
All right, so I'm probably not going to buy the lipstick, but maybe. All right, so how does that fit in? How does your personality fit in with the various jobs? So you've tried different sales jobs over the years,
Mm-hmm.
and some I'm going to guess that some you liked, some you were successful, and others maybe not so much, right? So do you want to talk a little bit about that, as to explain why you didn't like it, or what happened, or anything
Yeah.
along those lines?
I mean, truck sales, it was all kinds of things, but if it wasn't the right atmosphere or the right product that I believed in, it just didn't really work for me. Copier sales was super high pressure. It
Mm-hmm.
could be extremely cutthroat, that sort of thing. So that just really didn't set with me, the integrity of the kind of business. But
Mm-hmm.
oh, you could find your own path and
Right.
talk to the people and give them straight shoot, and tell them what's what, and they can decide to go with you or not. But it just depend. It was really, if I couldn't see integrity in the company, then I kind of had to go.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So fast forward, probably 10 years or so from when I knew you, before you got involved with Mary Kay. And I remember the stories about you saying how great your mom was, and how much she's earning. Not literally how much, but she's doing well enough that dad quit the job, or quit the farm, and was working to support mom. It's just like really cool stuff, right? When
Yeah.
people can do those types of things. Did you see yourself turning into this, Mary Kay superstar when you're in your 20 somethings and looking
No.
at your mom? Did you ever see like that as real? No.
I have to say, like, a lot of the Mary Kay, my mom's a Mary Kay national sales director, so that's
Mm-hmm.
really the tippy top you can get. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the daughters are just learning early. I don't know, they're just smarter than we were back then. But I just saw it as my mom's job, and it was wonderful for our family, but I just didn't see it for myself. And I mean, I come from a town of 5,000 people, 3 people for every square mile in Kansas, where,
Wow.
I mean, you can't, Harry, you've never seen anything like it.
Oh
You
my
know,
goodness.
I,
Okay.
when our mutual friend Carrie saw a dirt road for the first time, she was like, "Is something on fire?" Like, I'm like, "No, that's a dirt road." And so, um, so that's where I come from. But I was just like, my parents had been all over the world with Mary Kay. They've been to 30 different foreign countries all over the world,
Wow. Okay.
5 star. So that's what I was seeing. They were, doing all these amazing things. And I was like, I'm going to go do amazing things. So when I got the opportunity to move to DC, it about killed her, anyway, so it was just like, I just wanted to do and try everything I could, I guess, to find my niche. But
Yep.
when that happened, you just revert back to, wow, wait, maybe not. I know this business works. Obviously, I've seen hundreds and hundreds of women of my life for it be a success. And so it was an easy flip, and it was a God thing. I mean, there's no way around that too. So,
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, feel free to talk about that. It was a God thing. What does that mean?
oh man, long story, but I was at the time, God put Mary Kay into my heart, which was, the flip of the switch with the current job.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what was coming down the pike, and that was on my 40th birthday month, my 10-year anniversary month, and to finish DIQ, which is going in becoming a director with Mary Kay.
Mm-hmm.
It's an intense kind of thing. My husband then decided to hand me divorce papers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So God knew that was coming. and had prepared me, and I was working 60 hours a week at the other job, and with as a new director you're down to like 20 hours a week. And so I was able to heal and just become whole again, and then on top of that, the happiest I've ever been with myself. And then I was able to meet the man of my dreams, who's a Mary Kay kid too. His
Oh my
mom,
goodness.
his mom was actually in my mom's unit for 33 years.
Oh my
And
goodness.
we grew up
Right.
a half an hour from each other.
Yeah. So you knew each other years ago then, I presume?
We remember, his sister remembers us meeting at a Mary
Yeah.
Kay like thing when we were 10 or something, but we don't really remember.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So, all right. Very cool. So now, congratulations on all of those things, right?
Yeah.
And, being in a great place, both emotionally,
Yeah.
financially. And, the things that you're saying are just, a lot of people are missing out on these things, right? And
Yeah.
for whatever the reasons are. And
Yeah.
when you have it, it's it's like you never want to be without this feeling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
because you
It's
got
just,
everything going, and it's just like, yeah. I mean, the problems come up, but it's just you're in such a great place in life.
yeah.
Talk to me about that.
So that would be, of course, mindset and constant continuous growth. Like I look to grow all the time now. And
Wow.
just
Yeah.
feed, read and try different things and become a better leader for my girls on my team. And, I just totally strive for better and better, and just looking for that next thing that I can push myself. And I tell my girls all the time, or potential team members, that it's just that little space outside of your comfort zone where God really wants you to be,
Mm-hmm.
and to push yourself and live the life he wants you to live. And if you're aware and listening, he'll guide you right where you need to go.
I love it. So, what do you say to people who are not trying to be better?
uh
I mean,
I was
can you
there for a
relate?
long time. I was there for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Okay.
was in an unhappy marriage, just surviving, the day to day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a total different feeling. It's just this feeling of like, ugh, I'm just kind of stuck. I'm just going to go to the next day and the next day. And the futuristic part of me, which is in some of my top strengths, which is we do a lot of strength finders with
Yep.
Mary Kay. And, that was so suppressed. And then it feels gross. And then you start to just, I don't know, you start to spiral down into fear
Mm.
and living into, so that you're not really staying in the same place. You're spiraling down and living in your basement of your strengths. And then once you start in action and confidence, you start to just kind of level up, level up, level up. And now you're just seeking that joy and
Mm-hmm.
peace everywhere you go. And then you start to attract all of the good all the good things.
Right.
It just starts to just like magnetize to you. And it's a good feeling. You want that feeling. That's what God intends you to be.
Yeah. And I see this a lot, right? And people do just the opposite. And you say, well, sometimes people just live disastrous lives,
Yeah.
or they're having one problem after another. And then there are others that are just, I mean, it's not like it's smooth sailing, but it's
Yeah.
definitely a different road, right?
Yeah.
It may be the road that's covered with asphalt versus the trail dust in in farmland of Kansas or something, but it's just a smoother ride. So
Yeah.
congratulations on that. So what drives you to want to be better? And I think this is a thing that a lot of people who are in sales are saying things like, "Well, I'm in sales, so it's as good as it
Yeah.
gets," right?
Yeah.
I'm in sales, so I'm a sales professional.
Right. You
That's
got
not true, is it?
No. I've been
Okay.
I was in sales all the time, all
Yeah.
along, but I wasn't I didn't have my passion, and the
Mm-hmm.
passion is what drives me to find that next person, to ask her, talk to her about it, or make her feel pretty with a lipstick, like
Mm-hmm.
it's just the passion that I found with what I do. And that is what's so great about right now where we're at. Last year was the great resignation, people
Mm-hmm.
were checking out and finding something that fulfills them. I think I don't have the statistic in front of me, but people that started their own businesses, like took out the ticket to start their own businesses, was astronomical. They're
Yeah.
taking a chance to find their passion, and and managers and owners of companies have to make that shift. They have to make that shift to make people feel like this is their passion, and they've got to be passionate about it. But
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like this year we're in the great transition. We have all this opportunity, like people that work at McDonald's have the opportunity to work at FedEx or and move themselves up. Like you can go anywhere you want, and they're welcoming you
Right.
with like
Yeah, even
wide
without a
open.
college degree.
Yeah,
So, right? I mean, it's
yeah.
like now I'm seeing these companies that are big name companies that don't care about the college degree anymore because finding quality people these
People that are
days
willing
is
to work.
not, yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
right?
it's the number one thing. Okay, there's the puppy. So, he didn't, it's 17 degrees here, so I didn't take him on his
Oh,
walk. So
yeah. He
that's
can't
why
figure that out though. He says it's warm
he's
in the
like,
house.
can we just go or what? So, but yeah, it's the opportunities are so exciting this right
Mm-hmm.
now. I mean, it's just over the top. So finding your passion is easier than it's ever been. But if you're not sure of yourself and sure what you want, the clarity that you need and is attainable within, like kind of some inner peace and, some seeking, writing, whatever you
Yeah.
got to do to find out what your passion is, but do it now because this is the time. This is
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, I love it. Everything that you said, right? So, finding your passion. Let's just talk about that, right? Because you obviously found yours and it took you some time to find
Mm-hmm.
it.
Oh, I'm
So,
pretty
was it
stubborn.
something that you were okay? So, I was going to go. Is that something that you kind of just wanted to avoid, or did you give it any thought, or did you just kind of randomly try different things just so that maybe some of the listeners can understand that what the journey is like to find your passion?
I mean, it was getting to know myself. Like I said, I was complicated in a marriage that just wasn't good, and I think finding myself when I'm trying to keep this thing together was nearly impossible. And so when that ended, that's all I wanted, is to seek out my happy,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying, I have a dear friend that's seeking her happy in a not great marriage, and working on herself, totally
Right.
on herself, and then it's spilling on to her husband.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that you have to be out of a situation, but it's, it was just a lot of self work and self growth, and I mean therapy,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
everything that was possible to be good with myself, and then my passion just kind of came along with
Awesome.
it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. So today you're talking about, is it the Great Transition?
Yeah.
All right. So what is this about? This transition? Where do you see it going, and what kind of opportunity is there? Would you say?
So, I mean, oh my gosh, Mary Kay has had their best year ever last year,
Okay.
2021, for
And they've
instance.
been around
58
for
years.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
an incredibly long time.
Yeah, and so 2021 was like a lot of people were saying the economy sucked in 2021, right?
No,
And
I mean it.
so yeah,
We saw zero of that. My husband as well. He's in car
yeah.
sales. Number
Hmm.
one year they've ever had in the 17 years he's been there. So,
Hmm.
people are spending money. Don't
Yeah.
let anybody tell you different.
Hmm.
I mean, we don't know where they're getting it from, but we're building a house right now. We're just out the door,
Yeah.
out the door.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, it's not. So, it's people are spending money for sure.
Yeah.
But they're also just looking for different ways to do what they want to do. And so with Mary Kay, we just had to shift because
Hmm.
we were like, oh no, it's got to be knee to knee, toe to toe. We've got to create relationships with people and keep customers for life type thing. Well, COVID happened, there was no knee to knee, toe to toe
Right.
type of thing.
Right.
And so it became this, it became Zoom. And then your kitchen table where you worked became all over the country. That was number
Mm.
one. Number two, we share our ideas in our business.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mary Kay's one of her major philosophies where it was one woman has an idea, second woman has an idea, they share it, they have two ideas.
Yeah.
So we share everything that we do, and there's plenty to go around.
Yeah.
And then that makes us each better. And then it was, the product and all of the things that just kept excelling as well. But we went from, in 2020, I think there was $9 million directors. In 2021, there was 32.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
What is,
So
I mean, I'm just curious because yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say it. Don't hold it against me, because I've been to Mary Kay events and
you
I've
did
seen.
when we were in DC. Kathy was in Mary Kay, and you went to a
Yes.
seminar and came back with, you called them the pink team, and you were all
Yeah, exactly. And I said, this is how sales should be. I mean, it. You know what? I should have put that in the book,
yeah.
because that was. I think that was the beginning of me being really uh, better. I mean, way more positive. I was always pretty positive, but I just celebrated everything after that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I just saw the celebrations, and I'm like, these people are nuts.
Recognition.
They're celebrating, right? Recognition, and the whole thing, right? So you know, shame
I
on me for not recognizing Mary Kay, but she's in the book.
Well,
Mary Kay Ash is quoted in the Selling with Dignity book, but that was a real life change thing for me in business.
yeah.
So why did I bring that? Oh yeah, because some people will roll their eyes, say, "Oh yeah, that's a Mary Kay person," and they don't really look at it as a business.
Hmm.
So
That's
talk to me
true.
about that. How do you deal with that type of thinking or mentality? Does it wear off, rub off on you in any way, or
I
what's your
probably
thought?
used to when I was first starting, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Some of my friends were just like, "Oh, direct sales. That's so cliche, and
Mm-hmm.
how can you do that? You have to be pushy and this and that."
Yeah.
And it's nothing, yes, you have to market yourself, and you got to
Mm-hmm.
figure out a way, and you've got to figure out how to, start with friends and family and move out to different people. But plenty of women want and need what I have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just like having the confidence that I've got a great product to share.
Yeah.
And but that takes time, and that, just like any sales, you gotta like swallow, just take a deep swallow and just go, and deep
Yeah.
breath, and just keep going
Yeah.
throughout the fear of what others think.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, others think sales is,
Right.
not, and it's like the profession,
Yeah.
Mary Kay said, nothing happens in this world until somebody sells something.
I
Not
love it.
this,
Right.
this.
Yes.
you know,
Exactly.
it's
Right.
just like nothing.
Yeah.
So it is a very honorable profession. And when you write your second book, it can be in there.
Yes. Well, I'm going to do a video and talk about the Mary Kay experience. At least I can post something out on LinkedIn or Facebook or
You
something.
could, because you were blown away, and
Yeah.
just it's unbelievable, the feeling that you have. We get to have our first in-person consultant thing in two and a half years, and it's just electrifying. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people are craving to be together, and it is a stigma, but I mean, I've witnessed so many millionaires that started out with the same starter kit thing that I started out with.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care what you think.
This is, I'm
I'll
going to
take
turn
the
this
money.
$100 into $1 million,
That's right.
right? Pipe
I'm working
dream.
on it.
Yeah, pipe
I'm
dream.
working
That's
on
a
it.
hobby. That's never going to work. Blah,
Hmm.
blah, blah, right? So
Yeah.
there's negativity in everything, right? And you mentioned it. Sales in general, people
Yeah.
view as pretty negative, and yet, salespeople make some of the biggest incomes there are in the world, right? So,
Absolutely.
and then when you realize that virtually everyone is in sales, right? So,
Yeah.
you go to a good doctor, and if the doctor doesn't think that they're in sales and they have to market themselves, then they're not going to do very well,
Yeah.
right? So it's across the board.
I
So
mean, I've had a dental hygienist, I talked to her about Mary Kay. She kind of snubbed me, and I'm just like, well, I don't think I'll take that teeth whitening thing that you're pressing then.
yeah, right.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's all over.
It's everywhere. Yes. So, yeah, that's very interesting. And so, what advice do you have for people that, because the negative thinking is out there about sales in general, people who are starting their own business, they're not necessarily thinking, I got to be good at sales. Right. And yeah. So I see you,
Yeah.
I see the face, the wrinkling up of the face here. So what's your thought on that when they say, well, I don't think I have to be that good in sales because I'm just going to run my own business?
You better be reading a lot of sales books because that's all it is. I mean, that's all your own business is to market what you're selling. I mean,
Yeah.
that is 100% of your job. And we call it people hours are from 9 to 9. You're on it, and then you do the non-people paperwork after hours. And so it's yeah, if you're opening up your own business, you've got to learn. And I did have in my notes here that I'm looking down, uh sales is a learned profession.
Mm-hmm.
It's a skill that you can
Yeah.
learn and perfect,
I
and
love it. Yeah.
absolutely everybody can learn. I mean, in Mary Kay, you see every single type of person.
Yeah.
At seminar, that's what we talk about. You can see yourself in somebody going across stage because it's every creed, every size, every background, every educational background. The
Mm-hmm.
number one sales director was a Harvard business professional, and I mean, she left with her $12 million plaque, I believe.
Okay.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
way
So
more than
she's
that.
done pretty well in the Mary Kay business.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
all the way. So, it's I it's every type of person can be in sales. That's what's cool. It's just
Yeah.
if you put the person first, if you're service oriented,
Mm-hmm.
if you're willing to, you're gonna break my bracelet.
Dog is tackling you here. She's got a
He's
giant pit bull that's only, what, 7 months old? That's the size of a house.
he's never been like this
Yeah.
for us. I
Because
do Zooms almost every day, Harry. I think it's got to
my voice is threatening.
be something. He's like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Who is this guy? And so I just, you've got to be if you put the person first that you're trying to sell to, they're going to feel that. They're going to
Hmm.
know that. And if you're just thinking, what can this do to benefit them? And then if you have that willingness to grow, then
Yeah.
nobody's stopping you. And then also just, the work ethic
Yeah.
behind it as well.
Yeah.
That's really what you got to have.
And so, yeah, so having the right mindset, right? You're serving others first. You're not doing it. Sales is not what you do to somebody, it's what you do for somebody.
Yeah.
But I love how you said that it's a learned skill,
Yeah.
right? Because, a lot of people just think that they're not cut out for it unless they don't do anything to learn.
Yeah.
And then others who reach a certain point and say, I'm far enough, and, it becomes stagnant. Um,
Yeah. You can't
yeah,
ever
you're not,
stop learning and
doesn't sound
growing.
like, yeah, yeah. So, what about the work ethic? Talk to me about that because you're obviously a hustler. You're making things happen. What kind of habits should someone who's running their own business have?
You know, um, they really need to be self-focused, to grow, and that's got to be, 1 to 2 hours a day, maybe three.
Mm,
Some of the biggest, most successful entrepreneurs read 3 or 4 hours a day.
wow.
you know
Yeah.
when it's a new business, I don't know if you can take that, but
Yeah.
you've got to continually grow. And I mean, I have to put the phone away and the thing stuff down
Mm-hmm.
for 1 hour or 2 hours a day to play with my dog or walk my
Mm-hmm.
property, or that sort of thing. But it's also, focusing on the people hours, and having that organized. And we focus on something called the 6 most important things list,
Okay.
and that is huge. So before you go to bed, it doesn't matter how tired you are, you've got to get the 6 most important things done, and they have to be money, and people motivated. It can't be cleaning the grates on the grill.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
got to, to prepare for the restaurant opening, it's got to be people focused, people oriented, um, focused list. You can have your other list, but that's got to be your 6 most important things list. And then, keeping that organized, but keeping your hours, and then also practicing downtime as well, like a full day without it all. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're not, you know, healing and taking a breather and stepping back, then you're just stirring it. It's not
Yeah.
gonna work.
So this whole thing about self-care is a term I've been hearing more of lately. Um, and
Yeah,
people
that's what
used
I
to just,
sell, baby.
yeah, and it's funny because people used to like to tough it out. Nobody, I mean,
Yeah.
people didn't want to just admit that I needed self-care. It's like, I don't need that.
Oh,
I'm
my mom,
tough,
my
right?
mom thinks, yeah, she's just like, what? What book are you reading? What are you doing? Like, what do you need that for? Just do it. What
Yeah. Suck it up, child.
suck it up. And they come from major farming background, and it was just, you had to get it done. There was no, if you felt yucky about it, it's too bad. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's self-care is so important, and it's just a more, I think, enlightened way to be,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes you more aware of your surroundings, more aware about where your next step needs to go, all the different things. So you're just not bulldozing through things, and
Yeah.
you just miss a lot that way.
Yeah. And so those people are fine in the way they choose to live. But if you can step back and be a little bit more aware, you can be a little better with the relationships you're in, right? You're a little better, a little more peaceful, you're less stressed, probably a little healthier. So all of this self care stuff is something. I mean, I used to work a ton of hours. I remember being in Washington, D.C. I don't know if it was at 7 o'clock at night, and I'm looking around and I'm like, how much better is my life because I'm here in the office at 7 o'clock
Yeah.
when a lot of people are at home, shortly after 5.
Yeah.
Is my life any better? And I think that was like the wake up call is like, I'm not adding to my life. I'm really detracting
Yeah.
from my life.
And you've
So
got to
what's
be
your thoughts?
careful with sales because you can do that. You can go 24/7, but at the same time, like, I don't know, my husband and well, for me, I work and live my passion, and so it doesn't feel like work. It
Right.
really, when I'm helping somebody better themselves or make money to stay home with their kids or whatever, that is a very gratifying thing. So that goes back to your passion. If you love what you do, you're never going to work another day. And so, but at the same time, it's just, you can't work 24/7. It's a fine line, especially owning your own business. It is a fine line, and you got to decide, is this going to make or break my business? And probably not. Putting the
Right.
phone down and spending time with your kids is not gonna do
Right.
that.
It's right. Your business isn't going to stop all at once
Yeah.
because of that. So,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Yeah. I like it. So if someone's out there and they're not really 100% happy with their current job, their current status in life, um, should they be talking to you and saying, hey, what is this Mary Kay business that's been around for 58 years? Should they talk to you or?
Yeah. Or if they have a current beauty consultant, they need to speak with them. But if they haven't ever tried the product, or they're just curious, you know, we in the Great Transition, one, I can't credit that because a national sales director came up with that, Ari Hathaway, but it's, nobody starts a Mary Kay business, very rarely, very rarely.
Okay.
And they're just like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm going to do, they don't sign their beauty agreement. It's usually a transition into something else. They're thinking, okay, I just want to have this maybe just for a little while I find my passion, or but you never know in the meantime what it can be. It's just like you, when you went to your first seminar, I was just like, whoa. So it could grab you, and this is like it did me or countless others, that this did become a career for them. But it's usually a transition into something. But I do honestly, and I think, Harry, you would agree with me, think everybody should be in Mary Kay for at least 1 year to feel that pink love that is
It's
undescribable and
incredible. I do agree with you. I mean, it's the people are just off the charts, nice and caring, and there's such a community
yeah.
in it. And I was jealous. I mean, as the guy in the room watching all these women just like tell their stories, and I'm like, I'm never gonna get to feel this, but I am going to take this away.
There is
Right?
a brand new male national sales director, like to my mom's level.
Yeah. Okay.
He's the first
So
one, but
yeah. Okay.
that's a huge accomplishment. But
Yes.
yes, it is like one of my consultants' husbands. He's a famous jazz musician, and came to one of an event I put on, and he's just like, it's just like pink love, like
Yeah.
it's just pink love bubble.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, people can start to think like, oh my god, that sounds so weird or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's just like-minded people that care about each other and want there's no competition in Mary Kay.
Yeah.
That's the weird part,
Oh
because
my
the way
goodness.
the marketing structure is.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a. I had these conversations periodically with people that think sales teams have to be competitive with
Yeah.
each other
Yeah.
inside of the team, and I'm like, there is no great team that is competitive inside of the team. They
No
have
way.
to work for a purpose, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you look at teams that have infighting and are competitive because someone's not getting the ball enough. Those teams
Oh,
break up.
yeah, it's
Right?
done.
They're not great teams. And so you
No,
can have great players, but if they don't have a common mission.
exactly.
What's your thought on that?
Not everybody can be, in the spotlight, number one, and that can change and vary, but it can't happen, but in your own, if you're on a team, everybody, you've got to create wins for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can win in different ways in their own individual strengths.
Yeah.
And that's what we teach now with Mary Kay. The marketing structure is everybody can have the pink Cadillac. Like there,
Mm-hmm.
you can't look at me and say, oh, well, you can if you want
Mm-hmm.
to do that, but if you
Sure.
want to do the self-comparison game, but self-comparison or
Right.
comparison game is detrimental. Like you
Mm-hmm.
just got to own your own strengths, get the ball, do what you got to do, block the person, or, talk to more people than you're comfortable. And then it's just, you're doing your part and it's all going to go up, up, up.
Yeah, I love it. So here I am, probably 20-ish years since you and I worked together when you're a young punk.
That's
And I'm
crazy.
listening to this wise sage of sales and entrepreneurship, talking about work ethic, talking about reading, making yourself better, having community, doing the right things for people, serving others. Man, I had no idea, right? I had no idea 20 years ago this is how you turn out. And it's really incredible to see. So, congratulations. I know you're making a big impact. So, where can people find you, Autumn Britton, and learn more about what you're doing?
Probably a great way is just phone number. Honestly, that's an old school way, but it is 303.
We're gonna put it in the show notes, but you're also on Facebook.
Yes, I'm on Facebook under
Yeah.
Autumn Hebel Britton,
Oh.
Heble. And then I can provide my website address as well, marykay.com/a Hebel Britton. So
All
I
right,
can
so we'll
provide
put
that.
that in the show notes.
Okay, that
So
sounds
if you guys are
so
listening to
fancy
this,
show notes.
find the
Harry.
fancy show notes with a direct link to Autumn Britton, formerly Autumn Hebel Britton, and get have a conversation with this young lady. She's amazing, and you'll find others like her in the Mary Kay group, in the Mary Kay business, because they're getting constant motivation and positive energy. And I'm all fired up now. I'm gonna go buy some lipstick, something.
We do have men's products there, Harry. We
Yes.
might get you started.
Well,
But
yeah,
but
yeah, the men's
I have to
cologne is not
say,
too shabby.
Harry, I'm so proud of you writing a book and doing all you're doing. It is so awesome to see that as well. I just love and adore your whole family. You know that we became that close that, I became friends with your entire family, and it was awesome getting to know you and continuing all this time being friends. It's just a very cool thing. But the book is great and this is great. You're really servicing others. Like your heart is, you're just have a servant's heart. And
Yeah, that's why we get along. So I appreciate that. You're making me blush, but yes, I totally appreciate that coming from you. And it's all about taking care of and providing value for people and making the world in our own little way a little bit better, a little
yep,
bit better for the next person. And then we all do that. Then we're making a big impact. So
absolutely.
I appreciate you, Autumn Britton. Thanks so much for joining us on the Sales Made Easy podcast. This has been a real treat. We'll talk
For
to you real
sure.
soon.
Thank you.
Man, sales is tough. I'm just not cut out to be a salesperson. Have you ever felt that way? Selling doesn't need to be so difficult. My name is Harry Spate. I'm here to serve and to help you succeed. Join me as we discuss sales made easy.